Hey, it's me, Katie. Don't make this mistake when you go to sell your home. There are so many mistakes that you could make, and actually as I was preparing for this video, I was thinking about all these different things. You can put the wrong price on it, you can hire the wrong agent, you might have bad pictures, something like that. There are so many mistakes, but I really want to talk to you about in depth. What is a big mistake that sellers make? And that is not looking at both the appraised value of the home and the market value of the home. So there are two different numbers that when you go to price your home, you need to look at. And if you know me, you know that I always talk about price. If a house is not selling, it is always the price. Now you can say, well, Katie, it's not always the price. We have a bad kitchen. Our kitchen needs to be remodeled, or our layout's bad, or we're in a bad location. So it's just finding that one person. Well, right. So any objection is going to be overcome by price. Let me give you an example. So let's say your kitchen isn't done and you're priced a little high. You reduce your price. People are going to come in and they're going to start to offer it. But let's say I put $1 on that home. Let's say I listed that house for $1. How many people are going to write you an offer above $1? So you can never tell me that it's not priced, because the lower you go, the higher price you're going to get. I know it sounds weird. It's a little odd. The idea is that if you list your house for $1, am I going to hear a single objection? No way. We're not going to hear that you're in a bad location or that your kitchen isn't done. So if I list your house for $1, now of course people are going to come in, they're going to bid it up, and then it's going to go for market value. So I want you to look at these numbers. I want you to think about price is super, super important. But when you're looking at price, I want you to look at the appraised value versus the market value. Now the appraised value is going to be the number that an appraiser puts on the house. And that's typically going to be from the last 3 months, maybe the last 6 months of homes that have sold directly in relation in the neighborhood of that home. Depending on how many there are, appraisers can kind of vary, but where they kind of start is they start with the direct location. So homes that are literally like right around you in the small school district in a couple block area, that's ideal where they want to start. So they're going to look at those. And then they're going to look at square footage. So they want to see, is your square footage comparable to their square footage? That's the number 2 thing. Number 3 thing is they're going to look at the age of the home. Now I've made this mistake before. I had this wonderful new home that didn't appraise out. And when I met the appraiser, I brought him a home that was built 40 years prior. It was bigger, but it was completely remodeled. So I thought, well, gosh, these two homes are very, very similar because they're both updated. That's what I thought. And he said, no. He said, the problem is I can't even look at that other home because it was built 40 years prior to your home, even if they're similar as far as updates. So that's the thing. That's the market value. What is somebody willing to pay for a house? So I want you to look at the appraised value. So square footage, condition, age, location they do look at to an extent, but they don't take off as much. So that is, what is an appraiser going to come up with? What in the MLS is the appraiser going to come up with that says this house is worth X? That's the appraised number. Now the other number you need to be looking at is the market value. So that example that I just gave you, what I was looking at in my mind was the market value. Somebody paid $1 million for that home. Well, why couldn't I get $1 million for the new home? Well, the reason why is because, first of all, the age wasn't correct, so they weren't going to use that as an appraised comp. And then the square footage was much bigger, but that wasn't new. So you want to look at what the market value is. Somebody was willing to pay $1 million for that, and somebody was willing to pay $1 million for my new home, but the appraiser did not think that that was a comparable. So there are two totally different numbers that you need to take into consideration. Your agent has to understand this, because you can't just value a home based on the appraised number. And you can't value a home based on just the market value, because it's super important that if you get a high price for a house, like let's say somebody comes in and overbids a house, it has to appraise, otherwise they are not going to get their mortgage. So when you're talking to your agent, you're going to want to say, okay, what is the appraised value and what is the market value? Now, if your market is going down, your appraised value might be higher than your market value. If your market value is going up, then your appraised value could be lower. And then let's say you get a super high price for your home, then the problem is it might not appraise. That's why these two numbers are super, super significant. So as I always say, your home has to be priced correctly. If you're not getting any showings, it's overpriced. Bottom line, end of story. That's all there is to it. If you're getting a lot of showings and no offers, it's overpriced as well. That is just the nature of the game. I will go head to head with anybody who wants to argue with me on that. It's always the price. And somebody's going to say, well, Katie, what if we update the kitchen? You reduce the price. You're going to sell, not the updates. Any objection will be overcome by price. Okay, that's it for today. I want you to like and subscribe to my channel if you would. Every week I come out with a new video talking about the market, talking about little things that you might not hear from other agents, just because I'm really in it every day. I think about it. I really go deep in the psychology behind why people buy, what they're buying, how sellers sell, everything like that. So please like and subscribe. If you have a comment, put it in the comment sections for me as well. And as always, if you know, you know.